Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Nikki Hahn about her new music video for Obvious, and we're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff as well. Nikki, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Did you always know it's interesting, it's a little bit of tale of two interviews. We're obviously focusing on the music because it's exciting. It's always exciting when you release a music video. You've done the acting stuff as well, of course. Did you always know you wanted to do both of them?
Absolutely. Even though music is just something that I'm just now starting to share with the world, I've always been doing it almost as long as I've been doing acting. I actually started singing musical theater when I was really little, and I started singing pop because of acting. I had an audition where I had to sing a pop song, and that's how I started experimenting and learning some pop songs, and I realized that I really loved doing both. But it wasn't until about 3 years ago when I finally released my first single. I think I just wanted to really take the time to kind of learn what I wanted to do myself musically and kind of develop a style. And I'm still doing that now. It's a long process, but...
Oh, 100%. Do you see it as I mean, it's interesting because it's all storytelling, but do you see yourself being more interested in doing like the music stuff? Do you still kind of enjoy the acting? Like, what's that kind of been like? Because I find that interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, I can't choose. I love both for different reasons.
Yep.
Music is kind of where I get to tell my experiences and my stories, and acting is telling other stories. So I love both for different reasons.
Absolutely. What can you tell us about this new video that's out, this new song?
Yeah, so I was really inspired, even, with the song production, I was really inspired by 90s Britney Spears, and I loved Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. So I really want to have a lot of 80s and 90s references. So if you watch the video a few times, like a little scavenger hunt, there's a lot of little 90s references and 80s. And I really love the story. I love the twist, how I'm dressing all extravagant, trying to get this guy's attention, and he's just not acknowledging. And I love the little twist at the end, which I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it. But yeah.
Did you always know, because it's interesting because a lot of artists and bands, big thing is like, playing shows and everything, but there's always kind of this like interest and excitement about music videos. There's always a hype around it, right? Did you also know that was something like, you're recording singles and everything, but was music videos always in the back of your mind as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I waited to do my first music video for Obvious because I think I had more of a definitive storyline and more of an aesthetic that I wanted to go for. And I was really excited to do this. It is so much different than performances that I've done. The wardrobe, the hair and makeup. I even got to do choreography with background dancers. So I really love filming music videos now. And it wasn't really anything crazy new because I grew up working in front of the camera. So
100%.
It kind of came natural.
Absolutely. What is your favorite thing? And you can answer it more from the music or like the acting, but is there something you love the most about storytelling? Like, is there something that kind of stands out compared to other things? Obviously, there's a lot of things you like about it, but is there anything like that stands out in terms of like your favorite thing about being a storyteller?
In terms of acting or music?
I mean, music.
Music? Okay.
Yeah.
I would say getting my feelings out.
Yep.
I mean, really, I started writing as kind of a therapeutic, just to get my emotions out. And so really that's what it's become for me. Mm-hmm. Just being able to put my experiences down, get my feelings out, and it kind of gets a lot off your chest at the same time.
Absolutely. And what about like for the acting stuff? I mean, a lot of people have said they love the idea of like becoming someone else and like, because that's playing pretend for a living is what a lot of actors say. That's basically what it is. Do you like that part of it too, that you get to play like different characters? Is that something you like about about acting?
Yeah, no, I love getting to play villains. I love like those challenging roles because that's really where you get to, really pretend to be somebody else. Like I did American Horror Story and I was, a sociopathic killer. I mean, that's been like my favorite role. I really love those challenging roles because that's really where you get to step outside of yourself.
Are you a big it's interesting because there's a difference between like enjoying to work in like the horror genre and like actually like liking horror. Like, do you like horror movies?
I do. I love
Okay.
both. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio, so like I every time I talk to somebody and they're like, "Do you like horror?" and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "You're a Scorpio." It makes sense. I'm super into astrology, but yeah, no, I love horror. As soon as October starts, I'm like, we're watching a horror movie every day.
Every year I do this. It's kind of like I do a horror movie every day of October. I do 31 horror movies. Like I have like a calendar. Me and my friends like plan it strategically. Like, yeah, horror movies in October are a big deal, so I can relate to that for sure.
Me too. I think like 2 years ago I got to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which was like that was that was super cool to me. But yeah, no, I also love working in horror. I mean, when I was maybe 7, I did I think it was Criminal Minds, and it's not necessarily horror, but I had to be killed in that episode, and I kept asking, special effects department for more blood, more fake blood, and I was like 7.
Did you see The Strangers with Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman?
I did.
So, in my opinion, because I don't think I could tell you what my favorite horror movie is because that's really tough. Like I have like maybe my top 5, right? But I think The Strangers is like the scariest movie I've ever seen.
That was really scary. I watched it when I was at a sleepover with a friend. Yeah. And yeah, that was really creepy.
They're so far away from everything and it's so dark.
I'm like, I want to see it again. I think I saw it when it was on Netflix, and now I don't think it is. And I'm like, come on, put it back on. I want to watch it again.
They made different actors. So they made like a sequel, Pray at Night, Strangers Pray at Night. That was recently out too. But I remember we did an escape. Have you ever done escape rooms with your friends and family before?
I did for my 16th birthday.
We did one that basically it was like a murder mystery at a house. So you're like in a little house and there's people like outside like knocking. It's like the people working at the escape room, but they have like the strangers' masks.
Oh my God.
It was the worst because like they didn't even like, no one told me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I see it and it's just like, because that movie scared the hell out of me when I was younger.
Yeah, me too.
But movies like that really, but it's exciting. I think the rush, right? And I'm like, what's it like when you work on American Horror Story and Criminal Minds? Like, is there also like a rush when you're doing those things, or you don't really think about that because you're like focused on working? Is there a rush with that genre as well, though, like working in it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was working on American Horror Story, I was 9. I wasn't scared at all, but it was so exciting to me to get to like walk around the asylum set. Mm-hmm. I wish I could like relive that because now I'm like a huge American Horror Story fan, and I'm like. I back when I did it, I hadn't seen Murder House because I was 9 and it was like really scary. But no, that's getting to walk around the asylum and, Lily Rabe and Jessica Lange, the nuns. I was like, that was so amazing.
Absolutely. You mentioned, you've been doing acting and you've been doing the music thing for a long time. Do you find it still kind of challenging to balance everything? Because, there's like, the music, there's like the work, like the music and your acting. And then there's, school and, your friends and your hobbies. Like, do you still find it kind of hard to balance everything? Or do you think you have a good grasp on it?
I think I have a pretty good grasp on it. I mean, I'm homeschooled and I've been homeschooled since I was little. So I have, I mean, it's pretty easy to grasp. I mean, I'm in college now. I'm going to be a sophomore next school year. So it's like, it's a little bit more work. So that's now I'm seeing like how it can be a little bit harder to grasp, but I get everything done. Yeah. So it all turns out fine.
It's interesting too, because you mentioned, you get to, like, one of your favorite things about doing music is putting your heart and soul into everything as well. But like, when people listen to your music and when they check out your music video, what are you hoping they get out of it, takeaway wise? Like, does it depend on the song, or is there kind of an overall thing you want people to get out of listening to your music?
I think what I hope to achieve is just that people connect to it and relate.
Yeah.
Because I find that that's the music that I listen to the most, and my favorite type of music is, stuff that I relate to and can kind of put myself in that story and interpret it how I want. And I hope that people can do that with my music.
Absolutely. You perform, but a lot of people also that do music and act, they also, write, direct, go behind the camera as well. Obviously, you're focusing on, performing music and acting. Do you like, and like, working on this music video and seeing everything kind of come to life and everything, do you have more of kind of like an interest in going behind the camera as well down the road as well? Or do you want to kind of focus on acting and performing music, Nikki?
Down the road, I think I would love to, write and direct. I think actually for my music video, I was the executive producer. So
Fantastic.
I've had my first taste of that. And yeah, absolutely.
What was it like?
Down the road. Because it was my production to kind of be able to put together my own set and crew. That was really interesting, and that was definitely a first time experience because, when I'm working on a set, I mean, I go to set and everybody's already kind of, I have wardrobe, I have hair and makeup, but now it's like I have to like find these people and I have to find location.
You're wearing many
storyboards.
Hats. You're doing a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot of fun. It was really interesting to kind of try those different things.
Absolutely. I want to thank you so much for coming on Popternative to chat about, your career so far and your new music video. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So the music video is out. They can go check it out right now.
Yes, it is on my YouTube channel.
On your YouTube channel. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
So my Instagram is Nikki Hahn. My Twitter is Miss Nikki Hahn. My Facebook is Official Nikki Hahn. And my TikTok is Nikki Hahn.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes, Popternative.com for other content from the worlds of music, entertainment, and everything else. Until next time, this is Nikki Hahn and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.